All right, Lady Ada, we got a lot of new products. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm a little under the weather, but I'll do this thing. It's a new...
Take your NyQuil.
I know.
Maybe your DayQuil.
Take my DayQuil.
And let's get on to new products. Okay, first up, I'll do this one. Ready?
Yeah.
Because people are asking for it, we are adding more and more different types of Eagle. This is CadSoft Eagle standard 3-user version. So
it's actually a very good deal, by the way. If you even have 2 people, you're better off getting the 3-user version. We have the 3-user version here at Adafruit. I'm one of the users, CadSoft user, and then we have somebody in Fab who's the other user. And we love Eagle, and it's like great. Like we are actually paying for software that we use every day, and it's so worth it. Yeah. It's great to have to pay. You get like more space, you get more sheets. It's awesome. So
we're adding lots of different types. So every different version, because there's always different things. We put in the most popular ones that we liked, and then we're on the
If you're in a company, I suggest getting the 3-user. You never know. You're going to hire another person, and then you'll want them to do layout for you.
Okay. All right.
And remember, it always works. Mac, Windows, and Linux support. Great.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Next up, we got a lot of these.
Terminal blocks.
Yeah, and
I love terminal blocks.
The animated GIF always comes in weird, but like. Yeah. All right. So
it's too fast.
Let's talk about these things. What
these are 0.1-inch spaced terminal blocks, and they're very compact, and they fit into a perf board, or they don't fit into solderless breadboards because the pins aren't very long. I mean, you can kind of make them fit, but they don't fit well. But they're perfect for soldering to proto shields, or if you have a breakout and you want to turn the breakout strip into...
If you had an Adafruit Perma Proto.
If you have Perma Proto. So you can see it fits perfectly in there, and they're very compact. You still have a lot of space on the other side of the terminal block. The other ones we have that are 0.1-inch are very chunky. These are very svelte.
Okay, so what types do we have here?
We have every type. We have 2-pin, 3-pin, 4-pin, 5-pin, 6-pin, 7-pin, 8-pin, 9-pin, and I believe we also have 10-pin. Although I don't know if we're positive. Sure, I'm losing track. But we have many pins, and so you're probably wondering, well, why do you have, when we have the 2 or 3-pin, the 3.5-inch, 3.5 millimeter spaced terminal blocks, we only have the 2 and 3-pin. Why do we have all these different sizes of these? The reason is that for most terminal blocks, you can stack them. You can put them side by side, and they'll still be on the grid, so you can just put as many. So for the 3.5 millimeter ones, if you need a 4-pin connector, you just take 2 and you stack them together. If you need 5-pin, you take a 2 and a 3 and you stack them. But trade-off with these is they're very slim, and they do fit very, very nicely on a Perma Proto or the perf board. However, they are not stackable. I mean, the Perma Proto has really big holes, so you can kind of wedge 2 next to each other, and like they don't.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like they don't quite fit, but you can kind of force them.
You could do it.
And like if you solder them, they'll kind of stay in place, sort of. But they're not. They kind of want to go like this. So I recommend just getting the size you need, because there's just not enough plastic space. Like they just don't line up on a grid perfectly. But they're a pretty good deal. They're not as cheap as the other terminal blocks because they're just rarer. They're not as popular, and they're smaller. But if you want something that you can upgrade a breakout board, like if you have Arduino, or you have like an electric imp breakout, or you have whatever that already has holes for header, you can always just solder these in place and turn it into like a terminal block for wiring. So this is really, really great for adding terminal blocks to something that wasn't intended to use with terminal blocks or using with a Perma Proto. So we have them in all sizes. It's a veritable bounty of terminal blocks. I like these a lot. These are my favorite terminal blocks.
Okay.
You have all of them.
High praise from Lady Ada.
Maybe we'll make it 11 and 12 pin. I think the company didn't have them. They have to custom make them for us.
Okay. All right. Next up. So I saw a bunch of people tweeting about these, or on the Google Plus, and they really like these.
These are LED holders.
LED holders.
And they actually solve a problem that I actually thought of this would be good for cosplayers, because I'm like, now, we post a lot about cosplaying. So I'm thinking, like, what problems do they have? One of the problems is that if you have an LED, it's actually really hard to attach or mount it to something, because it's round and it's plastic and it's smooth. There's like nothing to grip onto. You can epoxy it, but it kind of sucks. So these are holders.
It's like Baby Hal.
I know it. Yeah. Didn't really mean to look like that, but it does. They're little snap-on pieces. Maybe we should use black, but whatever. It's Adafruit black. It's a little plastic piece, and you put there's 5mm, 3mm, 8mm, 12, 10. They're all basically the same concept. You push the LED in, and it kind of like it press fits in. And then there's these little flanges. Let me see if I can get in there so you can sort of see the flanges. There's these little flanges here. And you cut a hole and look at the specifications for each product for the whole size. And then it snaps in and it press fits in quite nicely. And you can glue it afterwards. You can still like get it out. Like it's not a permanent fit, it's a press fit. It's a little springy. So you can remove it if you'd like. But you can glue it if you don't like, use a little bit of super glue or something. And then you can have an LED that is fit through plastic. You can use, I'd say up to like, this is 16th of an inch. No, sorry, this is 1/8 inch. You could probably use up to 1/4 inch material, from 16th to 1/4 inch material. And yeah, we have 2 different styles of 5mm holders. One is like a little bit slimmer, and one has a nice bezel. We have a 3mm holder for 3mm LEDs. We have one for 10mm LEDs. And the style is a little bit different for each one. This one has a bezel with a little concave part, and it sticks out a lot. And then we have 8mm, which is good for like we have these NeoPixel 8mm through-hole LEDs. So it's just a way to panel mount or attach. And they're plastic, so you could probably like cut them or grind them down if you don't. Like if you don't need the whole like assembly, you could probably cut it down to make it slimmer. It's just plastic. And you get 5 each, so you like go to town, adventure yourselves.
Okay.
Panel mount some LEDs. I think these will be handy. And if you want like like a couple of simple ones that we have, we'll have metal ones as well, chromed ones later, but they won't be nearly as inexpensive. These are super cheap. You get 5, and they're plastic, and they're easy to use.
Okay. So next up, people have asked for this forever, and we have them. All sorts of different capacitors. So we got, which ones are lady?
220 microfarad,
yep.
16 volts, 100 microfarad, 16 volts, 47 microfarad, 25 volts, and 10 microfarads, 50 volts.
But we don't sell these individuals. How do they come?
They come in a pack of 10.
Oh, a pack of 10.
And that's because, first off, you'll probably need more than one. So we already need only one. And like, we don't want to like sell individual components. If you want like to buy one capacitor, you go to DigiKey or Mauser or Jamco, and they will be very happy to sell you one capacitor. Totally awesome. We don't really want to sell components. We want to sell like cool, big, like weird, rare stuff, and custom stuff. But there are a lot of projects that we have that are like, oh, you need a capacitor, and I'm like, okay, fine. We don't want to sell individuals. We'll sell packs of 10 for like $2 each, $3 each. But it's still a pretty good deal. And if you just need a couple capacitors, toss it in. They're good quality. They're electrolytic. We also have ceramic capacitors. So if you need high frequency filtering, get those.
Yeah.
These are like my favorite sizes. I don't like them when they're too big. These are all like really easy to use, really easy to solder. They go into perf board and proto board or solderless breadboard just fine. They're capacitors.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm gonna give some news. I've not announced this, but I figure it's fine because now it's there. If you go on digikey.com and search for Adafruit, you might find a bunch of Adafruit stuff.
Maybe.
Anyways.
Could be some unannounced Adafruit, DigiKey collaborations.
Anyways, if you just go to DigiKey and type Adafruit,
you might get something.
You probably will find some Adafruit stuff. Anyways.
Could be.
Next up.
Could be.
More connectors.
Oh, this is the USB connector. This is a single A connector, and this is that was used in that Model B Plus Slimming, the Diet Raspberry Pi guide. So that's why we carry it. So people who want to, we use this in like the Minty Boost and other kits, but and like the Power Boost. But if you like need a USB A jack or you want to do this Raspberry Pi Slimmy project, check it out.
Okay. All right. Next up, these are those weirdo connectors from the Edison.
These are the Hirose.
Yeah,
I actually don't know how to pronounce the name of this company. It's either Hirose or Hirose.
Yeah, I don't know. But these are the weirdo connectors that are difficult to get.
I think it's Hirose.
Yeah. So,
Hirose.
What do you think these are used for?
They're just board-to-board connectors, and they're used for exactly what I'm about to show you. This is for when you have one sub-module that has 70 pins, and you want to connect that module to something else.
Yeah.
This connector, and we sell to you in a piece of cut tape. This is like crazy delicate. I just want to warn you guys, like, this is not beginner soldering component. This is like a real fine pitch part. This is like 0.5 millimeter pitch, maybe 0.4 millimeter pitch. This is totally sucks. Not good for hand soldering unless you have the tools for it and you're like 0.5 millimeter, I do that in my sleep. So this is the connector, and it's an extra tall connector that mates with the Edison, the Intel Edison. So if you have an Edison, the only thing that's a little annoying with the Edison is they pick this like super fine pitch connector. But it does snap in nicely, and now you have this like extra, hold on, let me autofocus. Yeah, lock. Now you have this super fine pitch connector that you have to have it be this tall so it can clear the height of the can on the bottom. So you see this is like an extra millimeter or so. So we got the tallest one made. They don't make them any taller, and this is actually really hard to take off without pliers. I'm gonna use my fingernail, and I'm probably gonna break it. So yeah, don't get this and try to use it if you're not totally ready for it. You also need a circuit board to mount this to, because you can't solder wires to it, pretty much. So should be aware, but we thought we'd carry it for the people who do want this connector because it is a little weird and rare.
Okay. Next up.
Now I'm gonna struggle trying to get this off with my fingernail.
Okay.
You should use pliers. Not
We've got an aluminum box.
Oh yeah, let's get to the aluminum boxes. These are extruded aluminum boxes. I like these. I always think these are the best looking boxes. They are aluminum, so they're extremely strong, and they've got these like slick lines on them because they're extruded. And they're so they come as like one extrusion. Look, we don't cut them, but the factory cuts them from a long extrusion, and they're made for circuit boards. There's a little slot here that you can slide a PCB. I'm gonna just like demo this with, this isn't gonna fit, but like if you have a PCB that's the right height, it'll actually slide in and you don't need mounting hardware, which is kind of sweet. So there's that. It is meant for electronics. It is, I don't remember the size, it's like 100 millimeters by 80 millimeters, and it's got these tops that are aluminum also, and you can punch these or drill them or whatever, and you can punch and drill and whatever. This is just like really strong. And we also have a slightly slimmer version. Hold on, let me back up. We have a slightly smaller version. So we have two I mean, I couldn't quite decide which one was better, so I decided to carry both. This one's a little bit more like handheld, and this is a little more like desktop size, but you could probably fit like an Arduino in it. I don't have an Arduino on me, but we do have the dimensions of the internal dimensions for this. And then you can cut holes for buttons and LEDs, like use these LED mounts that I just showed off, and make yourself a fine enclosure, a very fancy enclosure. Put stickers on it. We have plastic enclosures, but these are fancy.
All right, there's a couple other photos. It is.
Yeah, it comes with hardware. This would be good for like people do amplifier projects or RF projects that need to have shielding. I showed it with a Raspberry Pi just for scale. I don't recommend it for Raspberry Pi. Like you can fit a Raspberry Pi inside of them, but just for scale.
Okay.
Take the measurements.
We got these flexible plates. We have 2 different sizes.
Yeah.
And this is for people who do 3D printing, and instead of trying to scrape the design off because the plastic
it sticks and it's hard to, especially if you use wax.
This is an interesting material, and you just pop it.
It's
right
flexible, but it will always return back to its shape. It uses fiberglass and has copper, so you can use it with. This one's the new one. It's for the printer bot simple metal. It does not work with the other one unless you cut it. You can cut it if you have a bandsaw. If you have a bandsaw or other cutting implement, you can cut it down. But this is designed for the metal, which is the most popular of the printer bots. And then we have an update also to the TAZ one. I think also has this copper in it, because I think now they're using like capacitive sensing. They're sensing the metal or something.
Yeah.
So it now has copper in it.
Yeah, and the TAZ one's already sold out. It was that fast.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we had signups.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a lot. Okay.
Okay. Next up.
A little tiny Raspberry Pi.
It is the compute module from Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi Foundation has a lot of people who email them and say, hey, I want to put my Raspberry Pi in a thing. And like we showed you with the Diet Raspberry Pi, it's kind of big and chunky. There's connectors. And maybe you don't need all the connectors, or maybe you just want like to embed it without like, you want it to be a little less expensive or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are building complete products around the Raspberry Pi. So when they go to manufacture, this might be something for them.
So what this is funny is it's actually totally like, what is it, the SimStick, the Linux single board computer. It's from like 5 years ago that was really popular. The Gumsticks boards. So it's just like a Gumsticksy Linux Raspberry Pi computer. It's the Raspberry Pi chip and RAM. So like right over there, you see Samsung, blah blah blah. That's the 512 megabytes of RAM on top of the Broadcom processor. It's got a little capacitors and stuff as well. And then down there, the other chip. That's I think 4 gigabytes of MMC flash. So it has the flash on already, and so I think boots Raspbian out of the box. So you can like load the MMC using I think probably U-boot or whatever the hell. I don't actually know how you do it, but there's probably a tutorial on how to do it on the Raspberry Pi site. And it's the size of a DIMM module, and what that does is the reason it's the size of a DIMM module is it means that you don't have to worry about that special connector, like that Hirose connector, which is like really annoying. DIMM connectors are like super rugged and super cheap, so you can get them for like a couple bucks, and you just snap it in. It sits nice and flush with your board, and it's easy to remove if you need to, and it's just like a super durable, easy to use connector, and it's got all these gold fingers for all, like every GPIO is exposed, the HDMI is exposed, so that way you can have this with your panel nut connector, so you're not stuck with the shape of the Raspberry Pi. That said, we don't have the mating compute board for like development at this time. We just have the module.
Do you have one of the modules here?
Yeah, and I'll show it on the overhead. But the picture is so much better because the picture's really great.
This gives you an idea of the size.
Yeah, it's very small, and so yeah, this is the flash, and then this is the RAM and processor, and then yeah, you can if you have a SIM slot, you just like pop it in. So it's much smaller than a Pi. For sure, and then you can have the connectors wherever you want because the connectors are like not terribly expensive. You can, if you're using something like this in this form factor, you're totally comfortable with getting fabricated connectors. It also doesn't come with a hub, so it doesn't have Ethernet, or it only has one USB port and it doesn't have Ethernet. So you'll have to manage that. But just after you're using this, you're not going to use Ethernet. You're probably going to use Wi-Fi anyway. So,
all right.
For the people who are interested, check it out.
Okay, 2 more products. We'll get through these. Okay, this is a big one. NeoPixel Jewel, yay!
Yay, it's a Jewel. This is actually a customer recommendation. A person emailed us and was like, you should have a little thing that goes inside the rings. And I'm like, you're right. So we made the NeoPixel Jewel, and it's the Jewel 7. It has 6 LEDs around and 1 in the center, and it's really bright. But you can see it's just like a NeoPixel. You have 1-pin connectivity. You can chain them. It's small. It's like the size of a quarter-ish type thing. I think we even have a photo of an extra quarter. Can you show that photo?
The one with the quarter?
Yeah. Just quickly.
You want to see?
Yeah, it's exactly the same size as a quarter. Yeah. Go me. All right. I know how big a quarter is. And it's probably going to be great for like jewelry or wearables if you just want like something, especially if you want to diffuse it. It's extremely bright and very colorful, but you can have like multiple color effects or a spinny effect. And it fits in all of our rings, of course, and it's very popular. And yeah.
Okay. And
NeoPixel Jewel. I want to have like little drop earrings, little jewel earrings.
And this week, the star of the show beside you, it is the 5.5 or is it 5?
5-inch.
5-inch.
HDMI backpack.
HDMI backpack that's powered by USB. Oh my God. It can run Minecraft.
It can run. Yeah. Well, I wanted to show like you can actually run stuff on it. So people like our Pi TFT, but the Pi TFT is only 320 by 240, and we also have the Pi TFT 3.5 inch, which is 480 by 320, but it's still not high res enough to do a lot of software, and also it doesn't use the HDMI core. And the thing about the Raspberry Pi especially is that it does HDMI really nicely. It has scaling and like all this good stuff built into the HDMI. So if you can use HDMI for your graphics, you're going to get really good, really fast graphics. And all the software that's written for the Pi, like Scratch and Minecraft and the emulation station, Pi Play, all that stuff is optimized for HDMI. So we looked at the smallest display that has good enough resolution to run software. So the smallest resolution has to be bigger than 640 by 480. And we looked at the market, and basically what was available was this 5-inch display. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. No, it passed. I'm gonna sneeze in like 3 seconds. So we got this 5-inch display, and it's not too big. I mean, it's big. It's not like as small as an iPhone.
And what's cool is look how you could tell the quality is amazing.
But the quality is really good. Hold on, I have to wee. So you can actually like play like Minecraft. hold on, I have to hit escape to get out of this. Quick to title. And everything runs as fast as it would on like a monitor. It's like a monitor. It doesn't know that it isn't just a monitor, but it's small enough that you can probably embed this in most projects. Let me, for example, run Scratch. Hold on, where's Scratch? There you go. And I'm just using like a mouse and keyboard. So you can run like any software on it, and all of it will work because HDMI. You don't have to worry about like if you've done PyTFT projects and you're like, like it doesn't use SDL. This, you can use all the high-speed HDMI stuff to do full-speed stuff. And we'll probably do like a project with it with a game. And another nice thing about it is it's panel mountable. So I put mounting holes. So that's like a problem with a lot of the other screens we have is it's not meant to be embedded in a project, so there's no way to attach it. So it's like, how do you attach it? So we made sure that we have these 4 like nice big mounting holes, so it's easy to attach. This version doesn't have a touch screen. We will have a version with a touch screen like in a week or 2. We ran out of touch screens, so we didn't want to put it in the store yet. But come in, we'll sign up. You can sign up for it later, and we'll have it. Has a standard HDMI port. Has an HDMI decoder. We have a backlight control, and the backlight dimming pin comes out. So if you have a PWM output from your microcomputer or microcontroller, like a Raspberry Pi has PWM, you can dim the display dynamically as you want. You can turn the backlight on and off as you want to save power. And then you can power it over USB, which is really nice. You don't need to have a separate external power plug or anything. You can see here, it's just plugged into the USB port.
Could you power it if you didn't want to use USB?
You can use a USB power plug.
Yeah.
There's also actually the 5-volt USB pin is exposed here. You can solder 2 wires, and you can, if you don't want to use an actual USB connector, for example, you just want to run 2 wires to like a battery pack, you do need to give it like about 5 volts. Like if you use the touch screen, you definitely need 5 volts. You can use like up to 6 or 7 maybe if you're not, because the logic is a regulator, but it doesn't really want more than 6 volts. But I would suggest just using USB because it's easy. So you can power it over USB, so it's like nice and compact, and you can use it with a B or the B+. We designed it for the Raspberry Pi, but it works with Windows if you want, or like works with a Mac. Works with, you can use it with like a Xbox. I think I tried this with my Xbox, and it's small, but it works. Anything that doesn't use encrypted HDMI, because it's not HDCP compatible, but if you're doing that, you've got your own problems because you have to get a monitor that's HDCP compatible. And our stuff is very basic. It's meant for just running software, not for playing Blu-ray. So not good for your Blu-ray player, but good for anything else.
Okay.
Yay.
And with that is new products. Good work, Lady Ada.
Thank you.